If you live in Tampa, you've probably felt it already. More traffic, more construction, more cranes in the skyline. And if you're thinking about moving here from out of state, what's happening right now could seriously impact where you live, what you pay, and whether Tampa is the right move for you long term. This isn't just growth for the sake of growth. Tampa and the entire Tampa Bay area is in the middle of a major transformation that stretches well beyond 2026. We're talking about billions of dollars in new development, massive infrastructure projects, new neighborhoods taking shape, and long-term plans most people never see, unless they're paying very close attention. So in this video, I'm gonna break down what's new, what's coming to Tampa in 2026 and beyond. And more importantly, what it actually means for locals and for people honestly considering a move here. This isn't hype and it's not a highlight reel. It's a clear and realistic look at how Tampa is changing, so you can make smarter decisions whether you're already living here or you're thinking about calling this place home. Let's start with the biggest changes happening right now. Before we get into specific projects and neighborhoods, it's important to understand why all of this is happening. Tampa's growth didn't come out of nowhere, and it's not slowing down because of one or two big developments. What we're seeing now is a result of years of planning, investment, and population shifts all converging at the exact same time. Over the last several years, Tampa has been consistently one of the top destinations for people relocating from out of state. Not just for lifestyle, but for jobs, business opportunities, and long-term affordability compared to other major metro areas. At the same time, Tampa has been positioning itself as a hub for healthcare, technology, finance, defense, and even research. So when you combine all of that with no state income tax, a growing airport, our ports are expanding, we have major infrastructure upgrades, you start to see why so much capital is flowing into this region. And this is where locals and even newcomers often see things a bit differently. So if you live here, the changes can feel, a bit sudden. You get more traffic, you get more construction, more pressure on housing. But if you're looking from the outside, Tampa can still look like an up and coming market that hasn't fully priced in what's coming next. The truth is, both perspectives can be really right. Tampa is still more affordable than many other cities people are leaving from, but it's also more competitive and more expensive than it was just a few years ago. That's why understanding where development is happening matters just as much as knowing that it's happening. Let's talk about where these changes are mostly visible today. So if you've spent any time near Ybor City or the Channel District, you've probably noticed how quickly the area between them is actually filling in. This is where the Gasworks redevelopment is happening, and this isn't just another apartment project. Gasworks is being designed to reconnect neighborhoods that were historically separated. So Ybor City, downtown, and the Channel District are now more visible. So it's bringing together the housing, the offices, the retail, the green space, and even future transit. So when projects like this come online, they don't just change the footprint inside the development. They increase the demand in the surrounding areas as well. Now, just west of downtown, something very different is happening, but just as important is happening in West Tampa. Projects like the Rome Yard redevelopment are reshaping this area along the Hillsborough River. This area is mixed income housing. It has parks, retail, community space, and even new connections to the Riverwalk. Those are long-term changes. They're not flashy overnight transformations, they're actually foundational. And that's when opportunities exist before prices fully reflect what's actually coming. So downtown Tampa itself continues to add residential towers, those hotel condo projects, and mixed-use buildings. So previously, this is kind of like supporting the shift from that 9-to-5 feeling that you were getting before to a place where people actually live. And when that happens, everything around it changes. This is where understanding neighborhoods really matters. Tampa isn't just one market. It's a collection of little submarkets that respond very differently to growth. Areas near downtown, Ybor, and even West Tampa are seeing increased attention because of their proximity to redevelopment and employment centers. Moving up north, the USF area and the Uptown area, it's quietly becoming one of the region's most important hubs. you have a lot of medical expansion, research facilities, housing growth, and even future transit planning. Across the Bay, St. Petersburg is evolving too, especially around its innovation district. So even if you're focused on Tampa only, these markets are connected. Demand doesn't stop at city limits. So for buyers, the goal isn't chasing the hype. It's really honestly understanding which neighborhoods are being structurally improved versus those only seeing short-term demand only. One of the most overlooked parts of Tampa Bay's growth story is the actual infrastructure. You have road expansions, bridge projects, interchange rebuilds that are happening. These aren't cosmetic upgrades. These affect the commute times, your access, and long-term desirability. Tampa International is expanding to meet future demand. I can't wait for that, by the way. And for people relocating, airport access often matters more than they expect. Transit projects move slower, but markets react early. Rapid bus transit, streetcar expansion, future rail discussions, infrastructure unlocks areas that were previously, honestly, overlooked. And that's something buyers should never ignore. Before we wrap this back to real estate, it's important to talk about lifestyle. Why? Because this is a big part of why people are paying attention to Tampa to begin with. Growth isn't just about offices and apartments, it's also about what a city becomes known for. One of the most talked about additions coming to downtown Tampa is the Tampa Wow observation wheel. This is going to be roughly a 250-foot tall observation wheel planned for the Channelside district right along the waterfront. If it opens as expected in late 2026, it would become one of the most visible landmarks in Tampa's skyline. Projects like this may sound small compared to obviously those billion-dollar developments, but they matter. They signal confidence, they attract the tourism, and they tend to increase foot traffic and demand in nearby residential areas. So for buyers, especially those relocating from out of state, these kinds of attractions help shape how a city feels day to day, not just how it looks on paper. Another major update coming in 2026 is at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. The park is launching its largest new animal habitat in more than a decade, and it's called the Lion and Hyena Ridge. This expansion will enhance the African savanna area, adding new habitats, better viewing areas, and a more immersive experience overall. So for families considering a move to Tampa, projects like this matter more than people actually realize. They influence weekend routines, your quality of life, and how appealing an area looks beyond just work and housing. And then there are smaller things that still get people talking. Whataburger is officially returning back to Tampa with a new location expected to open in 2026. One of Texas's most beloved burger chains is bringing its signature orange and white stripes back to the Tampa Bay area. So Whataburger has officially filed permits to open a new location in Wesley Chapel, signaling its long-awaited return to the region. This new restaurant is slated for 25340 Sierra Center Ridge, which is where the former Aussie Grill used to be, near State Road 54 in Wesley Chapel. Plans submitted to Pasco County indicate a full interior and exterior renovation, including refreshed restrooms, kitchen upgrades, and even a redesigned dining area to reflect Whataburger's iconic style. Now, that might not sound like a major development, but it's a perfect example of how population growth shows up every single day. So national brands don't expand unless they see sustained demand. And when you see companies reopening location, adding stores, and reinvesting in a market, it's another signal that growth isn't temporary. All of these additions, from major attractions to everyday conveniences, contribute to how Tampa is evolving. And for buyers, they help explain why demand continues to rise, even as the market continues to become more competitive. So what does all of this mean if you're thinking about moving to Tampa? First, timing matters. Buying before development is finished often feels uncomfortable short term. More construction, more disruption, I get it. But that's usually when opportunity exists. Second is your location. That really matters more than ever. Two homes at the same price can perform very differently based on proximity to future growth. And third, your expectations. They honestly matter a lot too. Tampa is still attractive, it's still growing, and it's still competitive, but it's not the same market it was 5 or even 10 years ago. For locals, this change can feel, honestly, a bit overwhelming. For out-of-state buyers, it can feel exciting and a bit confusing. The key is context. If you've made it this far, here's the big takeaway. Tampa isn't just growing, it's honestly transitioning. And the people who do best here long-term aren't the ones who rush. They're the ones who understand what's changing before they make a move. For some people, Tampa in 2026 and beyond will be a great opportunity. For others, it may not be the right fit, and that's okay. The goal isn't to convince anyone to come move here. It's to help you make the right decisions for your situation. If you're watching this from out of state and you're seriously considering a move, the smartest next step isn't guessing or relying on headlines. It's getting clarity on neighborhoods, pricing, and timing based on your goals. There's a link below where you can reach out and start that conversation. No pressure, no obligation. And if you want to stay informed as Tampa continues to change, make sure you subscribe. That's super important. I'll be breaking this down step by step as new developments take shape. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.